want to kick off the Sunapee School District School Board meeting Wednesday, May 4th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the Sunapee Middle High School Gymnasium. Call to order, starting on the far side with Ms. Gear, please.
Eric Gear, Director of Student Services.
Walter Houston, Principal of Sunapee Central Elementary School.
Sean Mooneyhan, Principal of Sunapee Middle High School.
Megan Reed, Assistant Principal, Sunapee Middle High School.
Cameron Messenger, Student Representative.
Ed Anderson, School Board.
Andy Nichols, School Board.
Terry McCullough, School Board.
Scott Ritzman, School Board.
Jesse Tyler, School Board.
Les Holden, Superintendent.
Kelly Wessels, Business Administrator.
Excellent. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Freestyling over there. Just call it a comeback. All right. Looking for a motion to approve the school board meeting minutes from April 6, 2022, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the school board minutes from April 21st, 2022.
I'll second it.
Discussion, any correction, commentary? If you could put a little more oomph into your motion next time, I'd appreciate it. It's just not like you. All in favor of approving the minutes as noted, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, wave for the home crowd. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the April 21st, 2022 emergency school board meeting, please.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 21, 2022 emergency school board meeting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Emergency sort of dramatic, but we have to call it that. All in favor of approving the April 21st, 2022 emergency school board meeting minutes as noted, please say aye.
Aye.
We're on a roll here. Agenda review. The only thing we have is board needs to go into non-public at the end of the meeting to discuss staff, and that's about it.
We have a action item I'd like to add.
Great. What do you got?
Approve proposed Sunapee Central Elementary School one-year guidance candidate.
Here, we'll do that as an add-on. Great. Anything else? A lot of moving parts. I'm expecting a couple things from you. Is that it?
That's it.
Nice. All right. Public forum in accordance with policy BEDH. If you'd like to speak to the board, this is our opportunity to hear from you. You have 4 minutes at the mic. Please give your name and address. Seeing no motion, looking for school updates from Sunapee Elementary School, please.
We have a very busy next 6 weeks. We had our staff meeting today and we went over our calendar. The next 6 weeks are very, very packed. First off, it is assessment month for the elementary school, so between our NEWA MAPS assessments, that's happening this month, plus we have state testing at the end of the month for grades 3, 4, 5. But next to that, we also have a lot of other events. 5th grade this year is doing a wax museum for the first time. Our 4th graders are doing their traditional Asia Day. It's also nice that we can bring field trips back, so we have at least 2 field trips scheduled for grades 2 and 3. Grades 2 is going to Swan Lake, grade 3 is going to Vince over at Vermont. Plus we're doing all the transition meetings from 5th to going up to 6th. We have a large 5th grade class going this year. And then this week has been Teacher Appreciation, sponsored by the SPTO. They have fed us well and gave us lots of food. And then it's also the book fair. So we have the book fair going on this week. So in spite of everything that's going on, we have a lot of different things happening at the elementary school. So we're very proud of the staff.
Thank you. Student update, please.
Sure. So student body is very tired despite the break we just came back from. Everyone feels like the break was way too short. And it just happens to be crunch time. We have AP tests coming up. We're even starting some prep for finals. Like, it's just a very jam-packed schedule for the next 6 weeks. And we're already looking forward to summer. Sports are doing very well. Baseball, softball records are looking pretty decent. About halfway through season, we're just trudging on through. Seniors, they have finalized their college decisions and they are working on their graduation and just looking to finish up their school, the rest of their schooling here at Sunapee. Juniors, not a whole lot going on. There is standardized science testing happening May 17th, May 18th, one of those dates. And we're all looking forward to prom, which is May 14th. Prom committee has been working very hard and everything is being finalized. And 8th graders have their semi-formal this Saturday, which is also looking forward to.
Is there much energy around that?
Yeah, there's a lot of energy. We're all super excited.
Good. Yeah, there's quite a sprint that you're all on to finish up. I know all of you have one eye on the door for summer, so that's great. You have a little fun along the way. Thanks for the update, being a student rep. Appreciate you volunteering. Mr. Monahan from the middle high school, please.
Yeah, Cam's got us working the bone, it sounds like. They're always tired. Each month they're tired, so we're working them anyway. He did some of the stuff. One of the nice things we did have, we had alcohol awareness week, the week before we went to vacation. Appreciate the help that the police provides each year with the activities that you do. Also had senior project presentation before vacation, and it was nice to have, again, the community back out. So we had the scholars, pretty good turnout overall. Later on, we'll talk a little bit about our NEASC accreditation, so it did come through. Hopefully we've had some time to look at it, but again, we'll do a greater presentation. We're hoping for this month, but we'll have a lot more in June. But we get confirmation that we were approved, and if you've been able to look through the report, just a ton of positives on there, so we're very pleased with that. We were, again, the U.S. News and World Report rankings came out. We were number 8 this year, a little lower, but what I feel good about is the we're top 10 in the state for the 4th year in a row. So feeling pretty good about that, top 10%. So that came out in the news recently, and pretty excited about that. So overall, a lot of good things. We've got this. Cam said we've still got a lot of testing. We've got kids doing AP testing the next couple of weeks. The juniors have finished the SAT testing, and the 8th grade goes on their trip next week. So a lot of good things happening. We'll work on the next month and a half. So when we come back in June, Cam will still be tired. That'll be all right. We'll work on the next month and a half.
Nice.
But they're doing really well. Really proud of the kids right now. Got a good year.
That's great. Thank you. Any comments, questions from the board? Your update, Superintendent.
Thank you. Yes, well, I'll keep it quick. We have been busy with the hiring process. You'll see tonight in action items. Well, we've got a lot of interviews for a lot of different candidates. We've attracted some good candidates. We felt like we have some good people that we're bringing in front of you to join our family for next year. We have secured our lease and our paperwork and loan for the lease for our project with EEI. That was approved on Thursday over vacation. Paperwork is done, filed. Attorney has everything they need. Lease people have what they need. Everything is in place and we are good to go. And so that has taken a lot of time, but it's time well spent and we are ready to move forward.
Nice. All right, we're gonna go, let me get my papers in order. School board topics, things you're hearing, things on your mind. What's the word on the street, word on the inbox?
It's really been pretty quiet.
Pleasantly.
Just hoping to keep the rain at a minimum for the next few weeks for ball season. Very important.
Very
No
baseball,
more, no more
softball
rain
bias.
after today. That's it for a few weeks.
All right. Yeah, it's been fairly quiet. It's nice to see the front end of the project work to keep that moving as much as possible is being done and lease locked in and everything like that. So nothing major on my side. I've been very busy with the new role at work. We move into action items to accept. First one, I'm looking for a motion to accept the proposed teacher resignation, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposed teacher resignation.
I second it.
Any discussion?
Ed got me.
No, want to thank Dana Pruitt for his service to Sunapee for 17 years and wish him the very best with new adventures after the conclusion of the school year. Thank you to Mr. Pruitt. Looking for motion to approve the Sunapee Elementary School teachers.
We need to vote.
Oh, sorry. All in favor of accepting the resignation of the teacher as noted, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Moving on. Looking for motion to approve the proposed Sunapee Elementary School teachers.
Make a motion to approve the proposed Sunapee Central Elementary School teachers.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the new teachers, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Welcome to Sunapee, Jenna Darling, Emily Nestor, Kelsey Pitkin. Thanks for joining the team. Let me get my paper. Looking for a motion to approve the proposed Sunapee Elementary School principal.
Candidate is on your table.
Oh, right here. Looking in the wrong place. Motion, we're gonna read first, you can do so.
Make a motion to approve the proposed Sunapee Central Elementary School principal.
I'll second.
Discussion, commentary? I wasn't able to meet Patrick yet, so you got to meet him, right?
I sat in on one, yes.
Yeah. Great. Seeing no comment from Russ, all in favor of approving the Sunapee Elementary School principal as noted, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the Sunapee Elementary School extracurricular stipend position.
Make a motion to approve the Sunapee Central Elementary School stipend position.
Yep. Chess coordinator.
Chess club.
This shows how exciting a school board is. Policy, safety, things like this. We are approving an elementary school chess coordinator for Sunapee. Any questions or commentary? All in favor of the proposed appointment of a chess club coordinator, Jacqueline Keegan, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That's a great thing for kids' minds. Generous with your time. Looking for a motion to approve the proposed Goshen tuition agreement 2022-2023, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed Goshen tuition agreement 2022-2023.
I'll second.
Discussion, questions, commentary?
And maybe Russ could give us just a little bit of background on that, just. the
Sure.
process.
The Goshen contract, if you remember correctly, Goshen SAU services, they have choice for the kids in their school district. Pick up some of those students, come to us on a tuition. The tuition agreement was put in place last year. It's a year-to-year agreement. It's a piece of paperwork that Goshen needs to show to the state of New Hampshire that it has agreements for their children to go. Newport, if I remember correctly, is still their anchor school, and so if they choose not to tuition out, they can go to Newport. The agreement's been looked over by attorneys and reviewed by special ed. It talks about following our policies and procedures of tuition into our schools. Same agreement that was in there last year, just a new year. Does that help?
No, that's great. How many kids do we have from Goshen?
Kelly, you want to ballpark that? Seven.
They need it for the state, so it's
Good.
formality. And we welcome all students. Any other reading the room? All in favor of the tuition agreement with Goshen as noted, please say aye.
Aye.
Ed, isn't that how you came to Sunapee? Look how that worked out. Future school board members, we have 7 potential candidates coming. Looking for a motion to approve a one-year guidance candidate.
The candidate is on your desk as well.
Kelsey Denning.
A returning employee, that's great. Former employee.
Quiet, full of and voice and body language tonight, so did I get a motion in a second? You're so quiet, I don't remember. Motion?
I'll make a motion to hire Kelsey Denny.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Is this a replacement position?
No, so this is the one-year position. Natasha Handel was taking the 1 year leave of absence.
Oh, got it.
And this is a replacement for her. So this would have been a real tough position to fill. Again, Kelsey, as Scott mentioned, worked with us before. She is currently in a program. This works out for her to be able to come work with us, get some credit for working in her program. It's a win-win all the way around. Already knowing our kids, our teachers.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to informational items, we got a little feedback here. Support personnel, informational items, please.
So in front of you tonight, you will see a list of support personnel. This is the food service, our custodians, our bus drivers, our administrative assistants, para-educators, and then you'll also see SAU personnel and our directors. These are the folks that are contracted and hired by the SAU, or by me specifically, and it is this information so that you are aware as a board that these people are being hired, and the positions are being hired for.
Are there any open positions for any of these still?
We potentially have some para positions that we still need to fill. We have one custodian position that we still need to fill. But outside of that, our bus drivers are all returning, our food service are all returning, and the majority of our paras, like I said, based upon student that potentially come in, we may need to add an additional one or half.
SEO personnel and district directors update.
So again, folks that I intend to hire for the upcoming school year, these are our SAU employees, folks that work down there. Tara, Kelly, Cindy, Kathy, along with the directors, that would be transportation, Brenda Thomas, John Reed in technology, Matt Baranis in facilities, and Rob Fullerton in food service.
It's the same question. Do we have any open positions?
Those are all,
All
those
filled?
positions filled.
Did you get your, Kelly, did you get your support?
No, we're still advertising for that.
We've
Well,
got
we're still
interviews
interviewing
this
for
week.
that.
Okay. I
We
couldn't
have to do
remember.
interviews this week.
So it's not a returning position, that would be a new.
Right, well, I just wasn't sure if that one got filled or not. Okay. All right. Federal General Assurances, Department of Education.
So this is the federal compliance that was put on school districts in New Hampshire by the Commissioner of Education 5 years ago now, which now he requires that the federal assurances be looked at by the school board, and then Jesse earlier tonight signed them initially in each page, and then signed that they were looked at by the school board, and if there are any questions or concerns the board has, it would be a good time to discuss any of those compliances. The compliances allow us to receive federal money in Title I, Title II, Title IV, in IDEA, special education. That money is used, Title II is professional development for teachers, particularly teachers in their continual growth. Title I to help struggling readers. And Title IV, which is technology and or science. And IDEA, as I said, is special education. And so we don't receive a whole lot of money from the federal government. These compliances say that we will fall within those boundaries to spend the money the way we're appropriately asked to spend that money.
It's pretty exciting reading. It's better than having to read the whole handbook every year. NIASC report, please.
John, you want to hit on a couple minutes, like you said?
Yeah, we plan on having much more in-depth at our June, but in long story short, we had the accreditation team come in the fall. It's my third accreditation in different schools. If I was to scale it, really grade it from an A to an F, I'd grade this one an A. They had us meeting the standard at every step of the way. We actually, when we had the pre-visit a couple of years ago, we actually were meeting the standard at that time. The person who did our pre-visit was so impressed, he actually wanted to be the chair of the visiting committee. And it was just really encouraging the reinforcement of the goals that we had as a school. So it's not like we don't have work to do. We know we have work to do. But the things that we have identified as things that we think are important, they agree with them, number one, and feel we're making good progress on them. So, you know, Sharon Parsons, who's the chair of our team on this, will present in June. I can't speak highly enough of the job that she does. Is the chair of the steering committee, and we have a number of other people who are on the steering committee to get us through the process. You know, again, hopefully it's long, right? It's 39 pages, but it has a series of recommendations, but also commendations, and it's always a good sign if your commendations page is longer than your recommendations page. So we're certainly there. So we'll have more with that, but we were approved. The chair actually came back for he was so impressed with our seniors that he asked, could I come back and be a judge at senior project memo? And so he was here for the senior project memo. So you know, through this COVID time, it was really a very big positive for our staff. It speaks, as always, highly to our students, our staff, our parents, and the community. We just came away very impressed with just all the things that every stakeholder really did. And you'll be able to see that throughout the report.
Do you think, like, were there any surprises? I know you'll get into it more when we get a report.
Yeah,
but do you think you're pretty well aligned with their assessment?
No surprises at all. So there was one thing, it's interesting, they'll send you kind of the draft of the report, and so I will say in the draft of the report, there was one thing that we looked at and we're like, where did that come from? And I called him up, and he immediately said, no, that caught my eye too, and they reworded that. So there was one thing that was just a little surprising, but in the final report it wasn't, and it was more an oversight on his part. He felt terrible, like, don't feel bad. It's, he had a lot of professionals taking 4 days of their time to really go through the school and visit. They visited every classroom, they visited every teacher. They saw a tremendous number of our students. So yeah, it's a great question though, but no surprises at all, which is kind of one of the things we want, right? The things they were saying, the things they were commending were the things we had identified as strengths, and the recommendations that they had essentially put out were the things that we had put out as things that we felt that we needed to work on.
Yeah, I mean, feedback was really nice.
The great part about this process with Sean was the fact that this was the new process for accreditation. And so we were one of the first schools to go through the process. And as Sean mentioned, having gone through this before a few times, this is an involved process regardless. There was a lot more involved and almost felt like a monkey on your back, the past practice. As Sean just mentioned, the ability now, the practice to change, to say, here's what we believe our strengths are, and here are the things we feel we need to work on. We're going to let you see their strengths, but we want your help to help us address some of our weaknesses, which is a much different approach than it was. Here are the standards that we're going to put out as an accreditation team, and we're going to expect you to tell us how you're achieving these standards. And if you're not, we're not going to mark you down on it. Where our old standard used to be to have an advisory, right? To have everything that in a small school we may have said we don't need an advisory because our other kids already have that relationship with a strong adult. But because we didn't meet that advisory, we would get marked down on that thing. There are still standards, but again, it's a lot more objective for a school to say strengths, weaknesses. Here's what we're really doing well. These are the things we want you to continue to look at with us to help us grow and move forward. So I commend the staff for going through the new process for the first time, but I thought it was a lot more beneficial than the old process that was in place.
I would agree. And an important thing as well is, the second part of that is they want evidence. So you can say, this is what we think we do well. They will say, they're going to look for what are those pieces of evidence that are there. And so that's nice that you can think you're doing it well, but now you have an objective group who's coming in who's going to want to see that evidence to do that. They were, I guess the two things, they were incredibly impressed with our students. Just the fact they go, everybody says good, they welcome us every day. We're coming to the building and people are, saying good morning to them, asking how their trip's going, things along those lines. And the number of roles that teachers play here. So just like, they're teaching 5 classes and they're doing chess club and they're doing, so they were, and just all the co-curriculars and the number of roles they played. So one of the recommendations, which is a tough one, is to try to find ways to alleviate some of the pressures and demands on the teachers, which is hard to do because we want to offer all these things. So, but we want to look at those things as well.
So like that comment, I read that in the feedback, right, about the students and the interaction with adults, and I kind of smiled to myself because for me, as a newcomer to town, that was one of the first things that I took note of when my kids, started school and such like that. I was like, oh my gosh, like these kids interact with adults, and it was amazing, right? And so I thought, like, what a silly thing to say, because when I would say that to people that we met here and I would try to explain, they just didn't get it. But it's inherent and it's ingrained in the culture here. So unless you have come from outside and recognize that, you just think that that's the norm, but it's really not.
No,
I mean,
that's
we had experience at 4, I think, different schools, and it didn't matter whether they were kids that I had just met or kids that I knew their whole life. It didn't matter. That interaction is just not what it is here. And I think that's a huge testament to what goes on in the community, in the school, the families, like all of it. It's a recognizable distinction here.
I think one of the nice things to carry on with that was like we take something for granted, right?
Yeah.
You don't recognize it until somebody comes out and
Yeah.
reinforces that. So.
I remember when we came to visit, we got a tour by Mr. Cooney. That was the thing that stood out as he took us through the building during a busy school day, just the way that the kids were interacting with him and greeting him and each other. It was like, wow, having been in 2 other school systems, this is different, So.
Oh, very pleased. In a nutshell, very pleased
Yeah,
with the report.
it's good.
And we'll give more detail at the June meeting.
All right, project update, please.
Well, we didn't have too many meetings this month. It was the mad dash to get all the paperwork done and try to beat the interest rate hikes and make sure all the documents were signed and ready to go. Now we start the process of planning and scheduling and actually, permits and all that. I think probably Russ has an update on some of the other financial stuff, but it was a mad dash.
So we have a meeting set tomorrow with the EI and their subcontractors. The 2 pieces that we're looking to firm up within the next week or so is to complete the packet for the planning board, to run from the planning board as a courtesy to show them the plans for the biomass and then the new placement of the module. And then also we are waiting for the schedule for the actual work to be done so that we can plan appropriately about what can happen, when it can happen in our building. Over April break, the engineers came up, drilled a couple of test holes through our walls. I think that's a good thing because I think they drilled their holes, they got through what they needed to get through and said, okay, this is going to be easier, we're not going to worry about what's necessarily in there or not there. They did their work within a day and didn't place a mess in the way they went. And it's like I said, so hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to get a better scope of understanding of the summer work, when that's going to start, and the sequence of that work to be done.
Good. Very quiet. Everybody meditated before they came tonight. Looking for a motion for the AP manifests, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the AP manifest 2022-20, $77,359.51. 2022, $29,279.08.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Round 2, please.
Motion to approve payroll manifest 2022-21, $361,480.27, and 2022-22, $366,564.54.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Agenda, next meeting, we're gonna be right before, graduation.
Anything with policy coming up, Russ?
So I'm waiting to hit a policy Update, we were told we were gonna be getting one soon, but it hasn't been released yet, so if we have one, we may have some that are coming forward. If not, we may do some work over the summertime and come back to it heavy in September. You'll have the school store proposal, that was here, but we pulled it up, but it will be coming back. We will also have, it's a June meeting, correct? We'll have a recommendation on, some potential monies that we might be able to put in our contingency account based upon our, unreserved fund balance for this coming year. You'll have some other candidates. We're still, as I said, as you accepted a resignation, we're still looking for the music teacher. So you'll at least have hopefully a music teacher and potentially one special ed and maybe a speech and language or a part-time speech and language. So we're working on some combinations. So you'll have some new hires. We'll do accreditation, Sean, in June.
Yep.
Want to bring Sharon in the
That would be good if we could.
great.
Look at a calendar here.
I'll give you a CIP update as well.
So, well, if we can all synchronize our watches, our meeting is on June 1st, Wednesday, June 1st. We don't do a July meeting, we have a summer break. And in August, we want to do the 24th, so that we don't have a board missing with summer vacations. Does August 24th, we'll still have the meeting, we'll just do it so that we can time it right. This is the week of in-service, week before school starts.
Yeah, I'll be gone.
We need 3 of us here, ideally 5. We have a remarkable attendance it's almost always 5 of us for everything, but you're in, I'm in, so we got 2. 4.
Should be. I'm arriving home the day before.
What's that?
I'm arriving home the day before.
Well, as long as the 4 of us are here, we got ourselves a quorum, and then we'll meet again on 2 weeks later on the 7th of September when school started. Sound like a plan? Okay. It's not really an agenda item, but I figured if we just did it today, we don't have to talk about it. It's good to talk about summer vacations. Cam, it's not just the kids looking forward to a little break. Anything else, Russ?
I think that's it at this point in time. Again, if we need more, we'll vote on it.
All right, that concludes.
Kara's got something.
See, you're so good. We do have one more piece of information we'd like to share. Tara, could you?
I'd be happy
Thank
to.
you.
I would like to extend congratulations to Amanda Hulock, who has been with us since 2014, and this year was nominated as West Central Region's Emerging Special Education Leader of the Year, and she'll be recognized in June. She's put a lot of time and dedication into her work here, and I'm thoroughly excited for her and proud of all that she's done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for your good work and the ripples that caused us through the district. That's wonderful. Thank you. I'll make the motion. I'm making a motion to go to non-public session, May 4th at 6:35 for 91-A:32A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of a public employee. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second the motion.
So what we're gonna do, we'll close the meeting from non-public. So this ends the public section of the meeting. We appreciate the folks who came out on a dark and stormy night. Thank you for the staff and contributors to the district. Have a good night.